All right, everyone. Once again, thank you so much to those of us who are joining us for this live launch of Turquoise Seas Secret Beach Condos. I am extremely excited about this property because it is the only condo property available at Secret Beach right now for individual ownership. There are a handful of new homes that are going up all across the island, specifically at Secret Beach. There's only a finite number of land that's accessible by road, and those current lots that we're seeing there in Secret Beach that are right there on the beach tend to be single family homes. So if you're somebody who enjoys this turquoise water, watching the sunset, and being able to see it all, then this may be an opportunity for you. All right, let's jump in a little bit. So welcome first and foremost to Ambergris Caye. Ambergris Caye is the largest island off of the coast of Belize mainland. If you're not very familiar with Ambergris Caye, reach out to me, info@lunarealtybelize.com. I can send you an overview about the island. This session, though, we are going to just jump right in and talk more specifically about the Secret Beach area and also more specifically about Turquoise Seas. So I can send you more info if you'd like it, but we're gonna jump right in at this point. Where I'm currently calling in from is right over here in our office, our Luna Realty Belize office, located in San Pedro town, right by Sacachispas Field, and we're going to be talking about Turquoise Seas, which is right over here, right after Harvest Cafe in that Ambergris Bay area. Now, you probably are aware that Secret Beach has been growing substantially, leaps and bounds over the last 20 years. And I do attribute a lot of that, if not all of the success of this part of the island to the original developer who started selling the lots off in 2010, I think it was. There was no road access up there. It was all swampy. People couldn't go and see their land if they were purchasing. There was just no ability to do so. Drones weren't really a thing either. So people were just looking at a map where a pin was and saying, yep, that's great. But that's also why the land was about $7,000 when they first started selling it. You probably have seen the trajectory and how much this area has grown. It has certainly become a tourist destination, probably the number one tourist destination, maybe number two. Holchan and snorkeling and all of that on the map, and Mexico Rocks is probably the top thing to do here. But second, probably pretty close, is going to Secret Beach and enjoying it for a day. Now, I know a lot of times when people are coming to the island, they're pretty enthralled with Secret Beach because you have that crystal clear, sargassum-free water. You can get one of those floaties, those like little pool floaties, lay back, have someone bring you food and beverage in the water, and it's just the epitome of Caribbean living right there. However, we're finding that there are just not many properties, affordable properties on the beach side for people. So if you're somebody who enjoys this water, but you're looking for an affordable property to be right there at the beach, specifically in this neighborhood, it's very, very difficult to do so. But I'm going to pull up my map here for a second. Give me just 1 minute. I do want to get the map pulled up because I think this is going to be really helpful as we're talking about the areas. Okay, so right over here on my screen, I'm going to zoom out first and then we'll just zoom back in. This is all the Secret Beach area over here. Secret Beach consists of about 4,500 to 5,000 lots, with more continuously getting surveyed. So San Pedro town right over here, you drive up the road, you cut west, and then this is all considered Secret Beach. Within Secret Beach, there are different neighborhoods. Not all neighborhoods are created equally, I will tell you that. There are some that are lower lying, so they tend to be more swampy. There are some that are higher and more elevated, some that are limestone, some that are waterfront, some that are close to water, some that are canal front. There's a variety of properties here within Secret Beach, but generally this entire area is all off grid. So you will not see any electrical poles here. You will not see any public water. This is all an off-grid area. And then if you follow my cursor right here on the left-hand side, this is where all the attractions are. This is where you're going to be finding the restaurants and the bars, Blue Bayou, where they'll serve you in the water park. So if you have kids or if you have an adventurous spirit and you want to be out in the water playing, this is where you'll do it. You can do the jet ski rentals out here, rent kayaks, paddle boards, and you have that really serene and peaceful water. Now, as you continue going north along the coast over here, this area, follow my cursor, this area is known as Ambergris Bay. Ambergris Bay neighborhood within Secret Beach. And Ambergris Bay has become like the luxury area of Secret Beach because the price tags here tend to be higher and because there's actually road access riding along the coast over here. So these properties, when there was no road access on the waterfront, they were going for about 200,000. Now that there is road access, I'll give you some examples, but the price tags are really quite hefty. So Turquoise Seas is located right over here north, I'd say about half a mile north of the start of the beach bars. So close, but far enough away where you're not right in the middle of it. And Harvest Cafe, this is part of Ixchel. This is a fantastic little restaurant that's open for breakfast, lunch. And I know they have now an adult-only beach club that they just opened right over here. So there's a lot that's going on, but we can start to see as you zoom in more and more of activity happening within Secret Beach. If you don't have Google Earth, this is a pretty neat tool up here where you can just pull back the dates and you can see the development over the years. It's really fascinating. I do this quite a bit because we talk about how much Ambergris Caye has grown over the years, and you can just see the proof right over here. So if I pull it back to 2010, you can start to see the roads are going in at that point. Let me go back even further. So 2003, no roads in at this point. 2010 is really when they start with the roads. So you can see there, but there's no homes, anything. You can see some of the areas I was talking about are a little bit more lagoony, a little bit more swampy over there. Some of them are higher ground, some of them are limestone. 2016, this is when we start to see a couple beach bars pop up. And then as we move along here, 2022, more roads in, more areas getting cleared. You can see now the road is, let me go back a little bit. So 2018, there was no road here, right? You can see that there's the outline, but there was no built road there. Now we jump ahead 2021, there is a road, and we're going to jump ahead today. It actually goes to 2024, but you can see how much more of the land is getting built up and developed. So with that being said, I just wanted to give you a little overview of the area. And now we're going to just talk a little bit more about the specific Ambergris Bay area. So as I mentioned to you, this tends to be the higher end area of Secret Beach because you'll start to see price tags here. Waterfront lots are at a premium. Being that this area does have road access, it makes it very, very desirable for people who are looking for a home. A lot of areas along the West Coast are boat access only. So if you're somebody who's looking to build your single family home or perhaps a rental property and you're boat access only, you're always going to need a boat in order to get there, unless there's a road that gets put in. When the road gets in, we don't know. I never guarantee infrastructure timelines here, so it's nice to look at what is actually there. But we can start to see the prices. This is a waterfront lot, just a couple of lots up from Turquoise Seas, where the lot alone is going for $725. This was another lot that recently sold. They actually have quite a bit of beachfront here. This one was $750, but this one sold about a year ago, and they've started construction here as well. So there's a lot of construction happening within the neighborhood, and they do tend to be these nicer homes that are getting built, and they tend to be operating as Airbnbs. So, for example, Casa Next to Sea, this is a fully staffed rental property, can accommodate 10, 12 people. They rent for about $2,000 to $3,000 a night. Ixchel, they have 4 casitas over here. This is the one that has the beach club just over here on the right-hand side. They have a restaurant on site. These little casitas tend to rent for $300, $400, $500 US a night. Also continuing the office, this one just opened up on Airbnb. Fantastically designed home, beautiful. You can see the pristine waters. This is just a couple of lots away from Turquoise Seas. And again, you can look up any of these online and see what they're renting for, and it's astronomical. Casa Nova operating as an Airbnb. I think this one just sold for about 1.8 million. And then Casa Cava, they're currently getting their BTB license to be operating as a hotel as well. So there's a lot going on in the area. However, there are no individual condos for sale. So for example, Ixchel over here, this is one owner. Tiffany and her husband, Ryan, they own all of this. They're not trying to sell off. Casa Cava, individually owned. Casa Nova, individually owned. The office, individually owned. Same with Casa Next to Sea. You see where I'm going here. So if you're somebody who really likes these views, don't necessarily want to be spending $725 on just the lot alone, then Turquoise Seas could be the perfect solution for you. So this is Turquoise Seas. Welcome to Turquoise Seas. On the left-hand side, you can see the office. This is the one that I was just pointing out before, this home right here. You can see that lot for $725 that I was also mentioning right over here. So you can see with the proximity of what is around this property. Ixchel, that's the one with those little 4 casitas, Tiffany and Ryan on that. And then beyond Ixchel on the southern direction over here, this is where we have all of the beach bars. So Blue Bayou, the water park, Happy Island, etc. There is new construction, 2 new builds going up, one right next to Turquoise Seas as a single family home. It's a couple from California. And then there is another property right over here. It looks like it's going to be a single family home as well. So really neat construction, beautiful properties that are getting built up. But Turquoise Seas was designed as a boutique small condo property. Because this area is completely off-grid, it does provide limitations as to how much you can build, because you always need to be thinking about your off-grid systems. You need to think about your water cistern. You need to think about your solar. The more units you have, the more solar you're going to need. The more solar that you're going to need, the more space you're going to need. So you do have to be very strategic as you are planning development. Now, this developer, they're from Colorado. They never intended for this property to be 7 stories or anything along those lines. They were really designing it to be a boutique property for people to come to and enjoy the waters, or perhaps if they want to rent their property out, they certainly can. There's no restrictions to that, but it really was designed to be a retreat for whoever was enjoying these waters and wanted to have something affordable. So as I mentioned, 6 units in total, completely off-grid, and all of the units offer unobstructed views of the blue turquoise waters. We saw all the development that's happening there within the Ambergris Bay area. We're going to continue to see it as well as Six Senses starts to get their property constructed. So it's 3 floors of condos. The ground floor over here is where we have the utility area. There's going to be owner storage, shared washer dryer. First floor, second floor, third floor, and then the rooftop is actually going to be where the solar panels are going to be. But right over here, the first floor on the right-hand side, these are all the 1 bedrooms. And then across the hall, this is where the studio is. What's really neat is if that floor is not yet taken and you're looking for a 2-bedroom, then you can purchase the entire floor and enclose this so that you have like a mudroom or a foyer when you go in. Then you'll have the studio on your left and the true 1-bedroom on the right-hand side. But all right, enough talking. Let's talk a little bit about what is going to be included there in the amenities at Turquoise Seas. This is really important because if you're somebody who's planning to live there or perhaps rent your property out, you always want to make sure that you have things on site to be able to enjoy as well. So first and foremost, there will be a pool. We can see in the renderings right here, there will be some decking around it and umbrellas. There is a beach area. So there's a part of the wall, the retaining wall, and there's a little opening there for people to be able to do their kayaks, paddle boards, canoeing, whatever it is that you want to be doing from the property. There's also a dock where you're able to go out and lounge. The dock is small, so you're not able to park boats there, but it'd be a perfect point to just sunbathe, or if you want to enjoy the sun. There's also a yoga platform. There'll be the shared washer, dryer, and owner storage on that ground floor that we talked about. And then it is going to be completely off-grid, which we mentioned before. So all of the utilities and whatnot, electricity, water, think about not having any electricity bills or water bills forever, because that is going to be completely off-grid. So here I put in some of the amenities that you'll be able to enjoy. These are a work in progress as the building is still under construction. We are expecting it to be about another 4 to 6 months until the property is ready for occupancy, but we're doing the pre-sales now, or while under construction sales now. So on the left-hand side, this will get finished off as the yoga platform. The pool that we saw in the rendering is right over here with some shade, decking around to be able to enjoy. I mentioned to you there's a little opening in the seawall, so that'll be right over here where you can push your kayak down or your paddleboard. The dock, you can see here, it's really not big enough to be parking boats, but it is certainly large enough to lay out your towel and enjoy the sun. So that ground floor that we were talking about, utilities, owner storage, washer dryer rooms, and then we have the 1 bedrooms and the 2 bedroom, or the studios rather, 1 bedroom and the studio, which together can make a 2 bedroom. Now you will note in front of the building, this is the main road over here, the road that goes up the coast. But this building right over here is a caretaker suite. So there can be a caretaker living there full time on site. And then underneath is going to be back of house. So for any items that are needed to, maintain the landscaping or anything along those lines. And then of course it is under construction. So landscaping has not yet gone in, but just imagine the pretty palm trees and the colorful flowers and everything that'll really be enhancing here. And then we talked about the rooftop. That is where we'll have the solar panels for the building. So at this point, there are only 6 units. There's not going to be any more. There's no potential for there to be any more, simply because of the size of the building, and they don't want to be going any higher. So we have the first floor. This one is on a temporary hold right now. with a fellow. I don't think Derek was able to make it, but that one is on hold for the next couple of days as he completes his due diligence. And then there's the studio, as we mentioned, on the right-hand side, and then the one bedroom is going up. So the higher you go up, the better the view is, but you can see that the price tag does increase as you continue to go up. But I do think for the size of the properties, for what you're getting, for the amenities, it's a real steal of a price here on the island. So let's go through the two models. So we have the studio model and we have the one bedroom model. The studio does have a full kitchen, as you can see right there. It's a little over 500 square feet when you include the exterior. I just want to mention something here, going back to the map. So the first floor actually has a smaller balcony, so it has more interior space and smaller exterior. But then as you get up here to the second and the third floor, you have a little bit less interior and more exterior. I do have a breakdown of what that interior and exterior square footage is, and I can send that to you separately. Just let me know what unit you'd be interested in. All right, so coming back here to the Starfish model, this is the studio going for, it's about 530 square feet. These start at about 250,000. Do note that the seller has purchased furniture to stage a studio and a one bedroom. Now, there's not necessarily a set furniture package. She wanted to give the owners the ability to finish it off however they wanted. But if you do like the furniture that it has been staged with, they are able to purchase that on your behalf for you. It is about a 4 to 5 month time that they'll need in order to get it ordered and to get it delivered and installed into your property. So you'd probably want to do that sooner rather than later, so that by the time the building is done, you can just pop right in and be there. But I just wanted to make that disclaimer. However, the appliances will be included. So alrighty, the first floor going for 249, the second floor 275, and the third floor, I see an added an extra zero there, going for 299. Again, the full kitchen, the outdoor terrace, and it has a very spacious bathroom as well. So this is very efficient living. You have everything that you need. We mentioned downstairs on the ground floor is where there's going to be the owner lockout closet. So you'll have storage there if you want to keep anything there. And there'll also be the shared washer dryer space. So this breaks down just a little bit more. This is for the first floor specifically. The second and the third floor, I mentioned to you that they have less interior space and more exterior. I can send this to anybody if they're interested. This is a shower, by the way, not a bathtub, but I can send this to anyone who's interested just to see it a little bit more. But just to give you an understanding, this is where you'll walk in through. Here's the door, walk into the kitchen, and then you have the bedroom, some more space over here, which, you know, if you're somebody who's working from home currently, or you still want to have a desk, you can always replace that for a desk. And the really beautiful part is there's a window right there. You walk into this room and you have really incredible views. You have views looking in front of you of the water. You have views when you look to the left of the water. It's just a really beautiful setting there. All right, let's talk about the Dolphin model. So the Dolphin model is larger. It's about 1,100 square feet. It's a 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath. So you walk in, if you can follow my cursor, there's the door right over here. You'll walk into the kitchen, half a bath right over here, large living space and dining area. And then the door for the bedroom is going to be right over here where the cursor is. On the bottom right, this is the picture of the master bathroom. It's huge. I mean, I went into it yesterday and it feels like it's the size of one of my bedrooms at my house. It's really just spectacular. But if you want the walkthrough video, let me know and I can send that to you as well. But we just need you to send us a message on that one. So these start at 349 and then work up to 409. But as you can see, they're quite spacious. We did have somebody talk about putting in perhaps a Murphy bed to be able to accommodate more people, or you can always do a futon or a pull-out couch to be able to accommodate any guests that would be coming. Or you can always put the guests next door if your neighbor is renting their condo out. This is just a little bit more for the unit. All right, and then let's go through the floor plans again. So you walk through, here's the door that we mentioned before. This is the kitchen. Then in the middle over here, there's a little island. This is the breakfast bar. And then there is enough space here to have seating for a kitchen table, to have a very spacious couch, bedroom here to the right-hand side. And then as you can see, the master bathroom is quite spacious. Following my cursor again, over here is going to be that half a bath. And then again, first floor, smaller balcony, larger interior, and then second and third floor, larger exterior, smaller interior. So we can see it's starting to come to life. The furniture to be staging the units has started to get delivered. So we're really excited about that. Obviously, it's not all arranged here in the photo yet, but what you really see from the moment that you walk in is going to be that turquoise waters. So the name Turquoise Seas is very representative of what you're seeing when you're coming here. So there's the dock, and this little circular thing that you see in the water is actually a fish trap. So the fishermen set it up, and that's their fish trap there. So pretty neat to see that from your window. And this is the view from the first floor, by the way. And this will be the master bedroom here. They'll put the doors in. There's obviously some more work that needs to be done construction-wise, but just to help you see everything starting to come to life. And they're really trying to get everything as close to the renderings as possible. This is the view from that first floor, one bedroom. So your bed is going to be pulled back just a little bit, and you're looking right out, and that is your view. It's really spectacular. This is from the master bathroom. So I was telling you it's huge. It doesn't really capture it in the picture, but it's a really substantial size. And then construction is underway, as we were talking about. So we still have another 4 to 6 months, I would say, for the condos to be completed for occupancy. So cabinets are going to be going in, light fixtures, the railings, the exterior flooring. Those are all on track to be completed, I'd say, over the next 4 to 6 months. However, if you're somebody who's looking for some minor customizations to the property, now is really the time that you want to let us know. We have a fellow who is asking about different doors over here for entry into the bedroom. He was also, like I mentioned, asking about that Murphy bed. There were some people who wanted a little bit of customization when it came to the hardwoods. So you just have to let us know that ahead of time so that they don't order it, because once they order it, then it's going to be considered a change order and cost more. So you just have to let us know as soon as possible, really, to make sure we're able to accommodate you. And then I mentioned also that you can consider the whole floor. So if both sides are available, there's the studio over here and then the one bedroom over here. What we can do is enclose this, put a door in, and then make this more of a foyer or a mudroom. Then you have access to both sides. It can be rented as a complete 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It can be, you can live on one side, rent out the other. You can have one side for when friends and family come. So then in that way, it'd be a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. And we can certainly talk to you about numbers and whatnot if that's something that is of interest to you. So what makes this property really stand out is that it's the only condo community in Secret Beach, and you really have flexibility. So you can choose the furniture from what they're staging or not. You can put in the rental program or not. I know there are a lot of rental properties that are very, very strict. You have owner usage restrictions. You can't decorate it the way that you want to. This property is not at all intended to be like that. It really was designed for it to be yours as you see fit. In addition to that, we saw the Ambergris Caye neighborhood there at Secret Beach. It's a higher end location, really beautiful homes that are going up, and very premium price tags we'll see. So this gives you an ease into a way into that community without having to spend those really high prices on the beachfront parcels. And then we saw that there are going to be those on-site amenities as well. So for you or your guests to enjoy. So we do have, of course, the availability chart, the floor plans, performas, and an FAQ guide, where if there is anything that we talked about that's of interest to you and you would like to see more information, please do request those from us. info@lunarealtybelize.com, info@lunarealtybelize.com. We can get those details over to you as well. If you are somebody who's considering about this property to be a rental for you, we did run the performas. We ran numbers based on estimates of how we'd expect it to perform. The developer is not mandating a management company, so you can choose who you want to use to manage your property for you. But we did run those fairly, I would say, pretty conservatively, with some higher management fees than usual, just for you to see what the potential is. But we've already seen that these properties along the Secret Beach coast are renting quite well. You can go to Casa Nova, Casa Cava, Ixchel, next to see the office and really look at the amenities they have, look at what the price is per night. And that's essentially how we put together our performa there. Or you don't have to rent it at all. You know, it can be yours to come and go. We have had a lot of owners from Secret Beach who own lots at Secret Beach who are realizing that maybe it's a little bit more daunting of a task to build a home than they realized it was going to be, who have been reaching out and expressing their interest as well. So it's good to see the good variety of people. Oh, look at Derek didn't make it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Derek. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so I know I've covered a lot. There is a lot more information to share. Like I mentioned, this is going to be a completely off-grid community. So we have a cistern, about a 25,000 gallon cistern. There is going to be solar panels, obviously. And if anybody's really interested in that, I can get you all the details for that. We've been talking about a covered carport as well. So you'll have covered parking for your vehicle. Each unit does have a parking spot as well. So a lot of thought has gone into this building, and it's been really neat to see it come to life. And every time we go, I find it so fascinating to see how realistic it's looking compared to the renderings, because a lot of times developers will just put renderings together and say, yep, there we go. You know, this is in essence what we're going to build. But here, what we're able to see is it's really looking very, very similar, which is remarkable. And the views, I mean, holy moly, you don't get much better views than that. Completely unobstructed, no sargassum. I mean, you can wade in that water, and it's so beautiful. All right, folks, I'm seeing a question come in about rentals. So somebody's asking for the pro forma, what we expected to be doing occupancy-wise. Feel free to email me, info@lunarealtybelize.com. We can go through those numbers with you. Again, there's not going to be a dedicated in-house rental management company, so you're free to use who you want. And in that case, you know, that typically gives you a lot more flexibility. So if you do want to come and go, you know, I think personally, this is a really great spot to have as a landing pad, to have that home in paradise, to have a waterfront property. If you want to rent it, great. I do think there's incredible potential for it, but I do see it being a really beautiful place for people to be calling home as well. And only 6 units, which is really quite nice. All right, I'm seeing some more questions specifically related to people. What I'll have you do, if you don't mind, guys, just email me, info@lunarealtybelize.com, info@lunarealtybelize.com, so that we can get through those questions with you, and reach out to us if you want any more information that we have stated here: the availability, floor plans, pro forma, or FAQ guide. FAQ guide is probably one that you do want, because there's a lot of questions in there that you may not realize that you've had. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday morning, afternoon, depending where in the world you are. I look forward to hearing from you and welcoming you to paradise. Bye, everyone.